This is Dr. Saul Adoni, SOLADONI.com. It's my main site. You go there, you can see links to articles I've written. There's over 100 books that I've written. And what I'm going to speak about today is the Pentagram of Blood, which is a book I've written, and also Solstice Lines Energy, another book that I've written that all tie into all this terrorism and how all these events are occurring on solstice lines and pentagrams of blood. If you go over to pentagramofblood.com, you'll see here a map. That's the main North American pentagram of blood. Almost every major event, major loss of life in the last 20-something years has been on these lines, from 9/11, Columbine, VA Tech Massacre, Sandy Hook Massacre, Katrina, quake in Haiti, and other events too, such as JFK, the recent Dallas cop shootings, Waco, etc. So it's a negative energy line. It's connected to solstice energy, and there's 7 of them all together. So if you go over here to the link for 7 pentagrams of blood, it shows a world map with the 7 pentagrams: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and Australia. Now, this is also connected to our recent article about the Nice terrorism. And you can see this is the European pentagram of blood, where Istanbul, Tripoli, Cairo, Paris terrorism happened. Now, the interesting thing is the Nice isn't directly on one of the 5 ley lines, but all you have to do is connect Stonehenge, one of the anchor points to Tripoli, which had a lot of terrorism recently. Connect those 2 anchors in that line, an exterior line of the pentagram of blood that makes it look like the Chrysler sign. 5 interior lines, 5 exterior lines. Nice is right there. So we just had the pentagram of blood major ley lines connect to the Nice terrorism. I mean, you can sit here and say it's all coincidence. It's not. It's been going around. It's been going on for basically all human history. I mean, all the great cities have been aligned to these solstice lines. All the ancient monuments, from the pyramids in Cairo, the pyramids in Bosnia, Stonehenge, etc. So you know, humans have been attracted to these ley lines since the beginning of history. And if you want to start figuring out what a solstice line is, you can go over to solsticelines.com. That's my site, my book, my video. A little 5-minute video explains it very well. This is the news site. When you click on down here, you'll see some maps. And these are the 2 main global solstice lines that everything springs off of. It starts over here at Easter Island, goes through Nazca, a lot of stuff in Brazil, goes through a lot of stuff in Africa, you know, all kinds of cave art, stuff like that. Goes through the Pyramid Complex, goes through Jerusalem, Temple Mount, all these things. And then you have the Stonehenge line that goes through Paris and Rome, and a lot of stuff goes through Mecca, and pyramids in Bosnia, pyramids down in Java, Australia, etc. A lot of planes crash on these lines. It's very powerful energy ley lines. Now, those are the 2 global winter and summer solstice lines. Let me go back to that for a second. The line going from the north to the southeast, that's the winter solstice, and the summer solstice goes from the northeast down into the southwest. Now, this is where the sun rises in the summer. This is where the sun rises in the winter. Okay, that line in between the spot is due east and west, and that's how the ancients used to find north and south, was by knowing where the equinox the spring and fall equinox line. That east-west line that divides these two lines is basically how everything was set up without a compass thousands of years ago. I don't think anybody knows that, but maybe that's how they measured everything, got accurate north and south. Now, once we have the two lines, we can grid up the whole planet, and this is basically the planetary grid of solstice lines. And the seven pyramids, the seven pentagrams of blood are basically anchored with these solstice lines. So this is solstice line energy. This is where you have a lot of plane crashes, earthquakes, hurricanes. Humans go crazy here, mass death shootings, school shootings, wars, etc. These lines have been manipulating humanity for a long time. And getting back here to the seven pentagrams of blood, which is where the Nice terrorism struck. You can see here on the seven pentagrams of blood, we have Europe's pentagram. And when you connect Stonehenge down here to Tripoli, boom, it goes right through Nice. You have the North American pyramid, South American, Africa, Middle East, Asia. Over here, Australia. So that's the seven pentagrams of blood. Now, if you go to the site pentagrams of blood.com, you see my book there about the pentagram of blood. Click on seven pentagrams, it explains the seven. And again, you got videos and maps and everything that explains everything here about them. This is the famous one. It's really a great pentagram, which is the North American one. 9/11's on it, Columbine, VA Tech, Sandy Hook shooting, Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Andrew, Mexico City quake, Haiti quake, Waco, JFK, the Dallas sniper shootings, Oklahoma bombing, Columbine massacre, etc. It's anchored with a little town up here in Canada by the native Eskimos. It was called Najat, and Najat is basically ancient Egyptian for evil. This pyramids near Mexico City are aligned to this area. It's a little off center of due north. No one can figure out why, but that's why it's aligned to there. It's a negative energy line. The ancient Mayans called this here line the Avenue of the Dead. They used to see all the spirits walking up and down this line, and that's why they were drawn to build their pyramid complexes around that. They understood all the death that was happening on these lines. Going back here to the European line, it's an article about Europe, explains the European line. There's a big image of it. So there you can see the European line. And recent events include Istanbul, France, Paris terrorism, Tripoli terrorism, Cairo terrorism, Stonehenge, Great Pyramids, it's Archangel up in Russia, another area over here in Russia. So that's the European pentagram of blood. And then when we go over to the Nice event, you just click on the article about Nice terrorism, and when it opens up here, you'll see it's discussing the Europe pentagram of blood and how the exterior lines is where the Nice event happened. So here's the page about Nice terrorism. And as you scroll on down, there'll be a map featuring the exterior lines of that pentagram right here. Whoops. Here you go. So we click on that map, and you can see here Stonehenge near London, Tripoli, the exterior ley lines, boom, Nice right there. So this phenomenon is very real, people. You want to talk craziness about chance or it's coincidence. Look at all the areas where there's no lines. Why is everything happening over and over? Okay, so that shows an outside influence or force manipulating these events. I believe it's connected to energy with solstice lines, energy connected to the planetary grid, which controls things like quakes, airplane crashes. Planes hit these energy lines and boom, they blow up on occasion when they're active. So it's not a continuous thing. The energy ebbs and flows, but the solstice lines energy are very real. Going back here to the grids and everything. So over and over, people, mass death events are happening on just a relatively small amount of lines. You got 5 major lines in each pentagram. That's 35 interior lines, and then if you start using the exterior lines, you got another 35. So 70 relatively small lines on the planet, and it's hard to find a major loss of life event the past 50 years that didn't occur on one of these lines. So ask yourself, why are these lines manipulating negative energy so much? And you can read my book, Hologram Universe. Now, Nostradamus also mentioned Nice, so if you go to our site, M for Michelle, then Nostradamus.com, mnostradamus.com. You see a link to our quatrains. You click on that link at the top of the page to quatrains, or you can watch our 2-hour movie about Nostradamus for free. And on the quatrains, you go over to the 10th century and you scroll that page going down to 60. You can see right here, beginning of 1060 is I weep for Nice, or Nice, or however you want to pronounce the French city. It's being pronounced Nice, and the ancient spelling in French was Nisse, Nice. So you can see up here, Les Pleurs, Nice. And Monaco was Monego, Pisa was Pise, and Genoa is being interpreted as Genis. So Nostradamus wrote about it. I write about it. I've written a lot about this stuff as my second name, which is my full name, Solog. Even though everyone knows me as Adoni, Dr. Adoni, a lot of my books came out as Solog, my full religious name. And Solog is where I keep most of my prophecies. I don't really write prophecies as Dr. Adoni. I've written them over the last 20 years as Solog. You can go to prophecies, solog.com, and you see that, or you can go to solog.com, SOLLOG.com. So that's what's going on, people. I hope you have some interest in this, so you can, open up your eyes and start learning that, random events aren't random. They're predictable. They're occurring over and over again. It's almost like Groundhog Day, involving thousands of years, just repeating, and no one's learning. So start reading it. Soladoni.com, Solog.com, pentagramofblood.com, solsticelines.com. It's all interconnected. It's the work I've been doing the last 20 plus years. It's why I've written over 100 books to try to explain all this stuff to humanity. And my main Nostradamus site is mnostradamus.com for Michelle. So mnostradamus.com. So there's 5 major sites for you to start reading, and we try to put a lot of information on the blogs for free. And yes, they promote our books, and a lot of times you can find our books. We have free specials, stuff like that. So proceeds for the books go into a international non-profit I set up many years ago, and we're trying to do a lot of good stuff with the proceeds from my work, try to help humanity. This is Dr. Adoni, aka Solog, explaining the terrorism events such as Nice and Paris and Dallas and everything else that's going on, Istanbul, Tripoli, Cairo. Check out my sites, check out my books, and have a great day. Thank you.